On 1942, a ship named Struma, with 760 Jewish immigrants on board, who fled the terror of the Holocaust before being sent to Poland and Germany to be killed there at the death camps. Due to a malfunction, the ship had docked at the port of Istanbul. After 2 months, when all that time no refugee was allowed to get off board, the Turks had decided to get rid of the problem at any cost. On the night of 23 of February 1942, the Struma, with a broken engine and without an anchor, was towed by a Turkish ship and dragged into the sea, into international water, out of Turkish water, and left there without food, without water, hundreds of people crowded on board. The next morning, a Russian submarine mistakenly identified the Stroma as an enemy vessel. They sent a torpedo missile, and all passengers of the ship, except a single traveler, including more than about 100 children, 270 women, were drowned to death in the deep sea. This is a serious crime of murder of human beings, of Jews. The Turkish government is responsible. It was responsible at that time, and the Turkish people and the Turkish government are responsible over the years. Today, Israel is under an attack, a moral attack, for doing the thing that any other country would have done. I want to call for a new standard, a standard which, in the base of it, there's the saying, "He who lives in a house of glass shouldn't throw stones at houses of others." It is now popular to criticize Israel. But I want to say to all those who criticize Israel for what it does, to remember that if you preach moral to us, you should apply these morals to yourself in the first place. Do you stand to the standards you ask from us to stand? The right to preach morality is not a one way. In Hebrew you say you cannot purify yourself while holding in your hand an impure object. You cannot demand that we act the way that you yourself do not demand of yourself. Am I not right? For example, there's Britain. Britain, which is lecturing Israel every day. Britain that have occupied South Africa and slaughtered thousands of the Zulu tribe. The occupation of South Africa against the Holland Boers. And I remind you that the apartheid in South Africa, was established by a British government. And the Falkland in the 80s of the 20th centuries, where ships of hospitals of Argentina were bombarded in order to break the morale of the Argentinian enemy. The Bloody Sunday, the oppression and the occupation of Ireland and Scotland and Wales. Britain is still holding the north of Ireland. And every day, innocent people are being killed, maybe not intentionally, but hundreds of people are being killed, and Britain is still holding the north of Ireland. And every day, the soldiers of Britain are killing, though unintentionally, innocent civilians in Afghanistan and Iraq. And should I ask from the Spanish people to teach me how to deal with a minority like the Basques? Or should I ask the Spanish people how to deal with the Catalonians? Or should I ask the Russians how to deal with the Chechens, and who are the first countries to lecture Israel? Iran, Syria, Lebanon, Libya. There are countries with dictatorial regimes, countries where a minority controls the majority in a brutal way, countries where women's rights don't exist according to the Sharia, countries where, according to the law, women are executed, homosexuals have no rights and are executed, political opponents are being executed. Just yesterday in Iran, more than 90 people were arrested because they came out against the regime. Where these countries have the nerve to criticize Israel, these states give terrorists sanctuary, and they are criticizing Israel for being a terrorist and acting violently. I want someone to explain to me the logic which stands behind the connection between human rights activists and Muslim extremists and terrorists. How human rights activists can go hand in hand with the Muslim extremist terrorist who believe that according to the Sharia, women who are blamed with adultery should be executed. Terrorists who believe that by the Sharia homosexuals should be executed.